What's going on, everybody? I thought I'd come and do a video for a couple reasons. One of them is, please excuse this real quick. One of them is congratulations to my children. Um, my three oldest have officially graduated from high school, and one is in college and is going on his third year. My two daughters that just graduated this year from high school will be going into their freshman year of college. Well, college is still undetermined. They have a couple of places they can go, but we really have to reel it in real soon. And my baby girl, she is going to high school. So, hashtag almost empty nester. What? Hey. Anyway, okay. But the real reason for this video has to do with respect. I saw a post that my cousin posted on Facebook, and I thought it was quite interesting. He asked a question that provokes conversation. And he said, "What is the deal with women wearing bonnets and house shoes out the house?" And then I saw the thread of conversation, and when you know better, you do better. So I'm not going to rag on anybody that does any of these things. I'm just going to say that very first line I just said, or the last line I just said: when you know better, you do better. Because I saw somewhere in there where it said people don't respect themselves, women don't respect themselves, men, what's the deal with pants hanging below their butt, like a whole lot of things. But I just want to hit on one thing, uh, and it's respect and knowing who you are. A lot of times we don't know who we are, especially not as youth, and we have a tendency to want to fit in with the status quo or do what the world does. I'm not going to act like I've never done any of these things because I was young once, and I don't consider myself that old, even though I'm 40. Because I remember when the trend was wearing, girls used to wear white tanks and boxers, and we used to wear lollipops or something in our hair. Before that, I remember when um, people used to rock rat tooth combs in their hair. Um, Before that, I'm pretty sure in the 70s when they used to rock a pick in their hair. It's a lot of things that as you get older, you don't deem it as something that's appropriate, but the generation that's coming up, they deem it as appropriate at the time. And rocking house shoes. You used to wear the fluffy house shoes, and I don't mean fluffy like furry. I mean fluffy like it was an animal. I remember I used to have these monkey house shoes. I had some Tweety Bird house shoes, and those house shoes, even though they were house shoes, we used to rock them outside because you thought you was cute. And even if you look at the video, "Don't Be a Menace to South Central While Drinking Your Juice in the Hood," he make fun of gangsters. Remember when people used to walk around with pacifiers in their mouth because they thought that was cute? Or and then he take it as far as to have all these things on his hair going every which way, and then he got on some fluffy house shoes with his jeans and um what else? Oh, and then of course he has his gun because it's a parody. But it's a parody. The reason you can make fun of it, because the sad part is it was true. It was true at some point, at some time. So RESPCT. We need to find out what it means to us, but we also need to figure out what it means to them. Because a lot of times what it is nobody's had the hard conversation. Nobody's told them. I remember when I was little, my grandmother said my great grandmother wouldn't allow them out the house with a comb in their head, but that was a trend. But she wouldn't allow them out the house like that. And it's true. It happens all over the world. There's so many things, but I don't think I consider it lack of respect or but I consider it more of lack of knowledge of themselves. They don't really know who they are because I'm if we be honest, 40-year-olds don't know who they are. A lot of them, yeah, we want to be together by 30, but by 30, I'm going to tell you 10 years ago, that would make my twins 8. I had some sense of who I was and what I wanted to accomplish. But I'm going to tell you, not until about 3 years ago did I figure out for real, who I was, who I am, and what I will and won't tolerate, and what I will and won't allow. And just know that there are people older than me and still haven't figured it out. That's why they still, you know, doing everything that they think is cute or doing everything that they think they can get away with and not being responsible. That's not saying that you can't have um, a responsible bone and like you don't do things that are responsible, but knowing yourself and having respect for yourself has to do with just that. So then you get a little smarter. You're a little more mature, you're more wiser. You understand what it means to represent you. Because when we go with the trend or the status quo or what we think is cool, um, we're going with looking like somebody else. Because let's just think of it like this. If every time a new J come out, you got to get it, are you being you or are you trying to fit in? I've never wanted to be one to fit in. I've always been different. I've always been uniquely me. But did that mean that I knew everything about me? No. Did that mean that I even showed certain levels of respect for even myself? No, because I didn't understand it. I didn't know. Part of finding out who you are is living life. Um, I have one daughter that fights against it on a regular basis because she wants to find out who she is in this life, in this world. She wants to find out now, and that's not necessarily the best choice because an older person with some knowledge and understanding of the world would say, hey, don't rush it because understand life is going to continue to go on. But the thing is you're going to be whoever you are until you grow up to learn who you truly are and who you're really going to be. And the only way you can do this is by making some of these mistakes. Hopefully those people that's walking around like that will look back at pictures of themselves and be like, man, I thought I was fly. What was I thinking? Or man, I was cute. And then they see it 5 years from now and be like, ooh. And then sometimes they're going to be like, girl, I had that. I did that. And you going to be like, oh, you still ain't figured it out. You haven't grown up. You haven't matured. But I don't know if it's a respect issue. It's a maturity issue. Because there's plenty of 60-year-olds, 50-year-olds. If we go in the men department, there's plenty of men that lack maturity because if they did or if they were mature, and there's plenty of women too, don't get me wrong, but I'm gonna go to the men's side of the house now, because if they were mature, if they were real men, they wouldn't have a wife, a girlfriend, a side chick, a booty call, all these extracurricular activities, because if they were real men, they would try to figure out how to be with that one woman, because that's being a man, and that's being mature, and that's respecting yourself. If they were a real woman, they wouldn't have to walk around and have everything on display, hanging out, spilling out of their tops, or coming out from under the bottom of their shorts or skirts or whatever. They wouldn't have to, or not have to, but they wouldn't be posting certain um, things on video for people to see, or they wouldn't be trying to sell it to the highest bidder based on what kind of car they drive. And when I say they, I'm talking about the significant other, or who they want to be the significant other. Because back in the day, what we used to call those wheel watchers. So if they wanted to be a real woman, they wouldn't be a wheel watcher. They would be trying to be holy and acceptable to Christ, which is both men and female. They would try to be holy and acceptable to Christ. And if they want somebody to have that vehicle, then that means they need to strive to find out how to get that vehicle, market their skills and their talents to buy the vehicle that they think they would look good riding in, not riding in what's the latest trend with the 24-inch rims, blacked out. Like, don't get me wrong, I like a nice car, but I want to be the one to own that nice car. I don't want to be the passenger. I'm the driver. And that's, certain things like that. And won't be okay with being the side chick or being the mistress. Won't be okay with their husband saying, hey, let us add some spice to this relationship. Let us bring, whoever, Becky, Susan, into the bedroom with us, because, I think that would be good for us. There has to be a line in the sand. Don't get me wrong, everybody have their preference, but we're talking about maturity and respect. I said this wasn't going to be biblical, but if we go to, I think it's Ephesians, then they tell you to love your wife as Jesus loved the church. And then women, you are to follow your husband as he follows Christ. So that's not chasing the nicest car, the biggest house, the biggest bank of somebody else. That is loving who you thought God placed there for you, that you prayed for and you said, I'm going to be there with, and walking that thing out. It's not going to be easy. Being married is not like, it's not like the Disney movies where they're married and they say the end. That's when life begins. That's when it all begins. What you thought is not going to be what it is. You have to know for sure and understand that nobody's perfect. Now, let's bring this and reel this back in. I was talking about respect and maturity and knowing yourself. And ultimately, that's what it has to be. I got to know myself. You see my shirt, it says strong woman. On the back, it says raise them, grow them, teach them. I might be wrong on one of those, but I'll show you a picture anyway. But that's who I strive to be. I'm not saying that I'm perfect. And see, this is where people get a misunderstanding about maturity, knowing thyself, and respecting yourself. That doesn't mean you get it right every single time. It just means you have a standard and you follow it and be okay with it. So blessings, love. I pray you got something from this. Stay up. Know that you are loved and that you are blessed. Talk to you next time.